Hello. Welcome to Parenting Genie Talk on Wednesday night. Constance again, your lactation consultant. I have a topic for you tonight, and I hope that this is all working. You may be able to see in the background a poster that I put up. And if you can see it, look at that. So it says, did you know what is in breast milk? And if I put the camera like that, you can see how long it is and what is in formula. Now, I won't go through every single bit in infant formula and in also breast milk, but I just want to give you a little bit of an idea why every drop matters. So, infant feeding choices are there nowadays. We can choose not to breastfeed our babies. We know that it's good for our babies. We usually know that it's good for mums and babies. Also good for the budget. But it is not always easy. And there can be lots of hurdles to make breastfeeding work. So tonight, I just want to give you an idea that breast milk compared to formula is a living, dynamic fluid. It changes all the time. It changes from one feed to the other. It changes from the start of a feed to the end of the feed. It changes from being a premature baby to a term baby. It changes when you may still have a toddler breastfeeding. Yes, that can happen, and that's a good thing. And so that breast milk will be different again. The goal tonight is not to discuss perfection, but understanding that even small amounts of breast milk are beneficial and make a difference to our baby's health. So what you may not be able to see very clearly here when I go through that is I'm going to just show you, this is water and carbohydrate and lactose. Now, there is a lot of lactose in breast milk, and you hear people talking about, oh, my baby is lactose intolerant, or I'm lactose intolerant. There's only very few babies who cannot tolerate lactose from human milk, and that's because they have a genetic issue. They can't digest lactose. And so, with lactose, that's the brain fuel, and that's what gives energy to our babies. And it's very important for babies to have that lactose. Now, lactose is also in infant formula. However, it's not human milk lactose. It's from mainly cow's milk, sometimes goats. In preterm babies, we do have a different composition because these preterm babies, they were supposed to grow really well in utero, and then they were born early, and now they have to make up for that growth. So what does breast milk do? Breast milk is going to be higher in protein to give fuel to these premature babies who need to now make up in terms of growth and brain development outside the womb. There is also we call it often prem milk, the mother produces prem milk. There is higher antibodies to protect the baby. And there's something that's called lysozyme. That's an enzyme that also helps to protect the baby. And that's in breast milk generally, but there's higher levels in preterm breast milk. So another really interesting substance in human milk is called human oligosaccharides, or HMOs. Now, sorry about the jargon. You don't have to remember it. However, that is protecting our gut and it's feeding our microbiome. And you've heard a lot about our microbiome these days. We are so in need of a good microbiome to protect us from infection. So if our gut is healthy, then a lot of everything is healthy in our body. Now, the interesting thing is with the oligosaccharides, there has been more than 200 different kinds of oligosaccharides found in breast milk. But they haven't been researched, so we don't even know what they're all about. I'm going to just give you a little bit of an idea. I've got a little cheat sheet here. So they are important to feed our good bacteria in our gut, and they are fertilizers for a healthy gut flora. And these human oligosaccharides, they also block harmful bacteria from attaching to the gut. And that makes sense because we know that breastfed babies have much less diarrhea and gastrointestinal infections in the first 6 months of their lives. And yes, they promote that healthy gut microbiome. Now, another part of breast milk I'm taking out tonight, just to give you a little bit of an idea, is the immune factors. And they are also mentioned here as well, and you won't be finding them in infant formula. So there's one that's called lactoferrin. Lactoferrin is a substance that binds iron, which then prevents harmful bacteria from growing in our gut, in our lungs, in our systems. And it also is anti-inflammatory. Another immune factor is called lysozyme. Again, something that protects us against infections, or let's say our babies. What you've heard a lot of is antibodies. Now, there is a lot of antibodies in human milk, and again, they protect the gut, the lungs, and the airways. And what you would often hear in your antenatal classes, if there is a breastfeeding class in antenatal classes, if you have attended them, is that babies who receive their mom's milk have much less risk of getting sick. And what does that mean? It means they have less gut infections or diarrhea. They have less lung infections like bronchitis, and they also have less infections of the airways, so like coughs and that kind of thing. Now, one of my favorites when I talk about what consists human milk is called Hamlet. That is an acronym for a word called human albumin made lethal to tumor cells. So it's got nothing to do with Shakespeare, but it's written like Hamlet in Shakespeare. And that destroys certain abnormal cells. So it's believed that we have babies more protected from abnormal cells if they get their mom's milk and they get that albumin that is lethal to tumor cells. No breast milk is the same of any mother. So breast milk is like a personalized medicine system, and it adapts to the baby's need. Saying that, I give you an example. Your baby may go into daycare or into childcare and has picked up a bug. If you as a mother are a breastfeeding mother, the best way to help your baby to get better fast is to go to that childcare center and sit there for at least 15 to 20 minutes and feed your baby. Because your breast milk will already change and make antibodies against that bug that your baby has picked up in daycare. Fascinating, isn't it? So when it comes to formula, it's not poison. It provides nutrition. It does not contain any live immune compounds, and it cannot adapt to real-time changes when it comes to protecting the baby. But it is nutritious enough to make a baby grow well. Now, a couple of other substances in breast milk. There are hormones, and I just want to pick out 2 hormones. Again, my favorites. There's one that's called leptin. Leptin is something that people who want to lose weight get in their tablets these days. So there is synthetic leptin in medication to help restrict our hunger, our appetite. Now, our babies get that in breast milk. They get leptin, and it helps to regulate the appetite and is linked to healthy weight regulation. Another reason why breastfed babies can't get really fat or they can't get overweight, because that's what the breast milk does. And another hormone is called ghrelin. And ghrelin also stimulates hunger and helps babies to feel full or to tell them that they're hungry. There's also growth factors in breast milk, and they are really important for organ development. There is other enzymes, and if I talk about enzymes, there is a lot of enzymes around here, so I can't even name them all. And then there's a lot of vitamins and minerals, so more than you can find in the formula. And last but least, there's anti-inflammatory agents as well in the breast milk. So whilst formula is safe, it's regulated, it's nutritionally adequate, and it is certainly an alternative to breast milk, it lacks living and adaptive properties. The key message here tonight is breast milk is complex and is dynamic. And even small amounts are beneficial. It's not all or nothing. So you may be a mom who has to go back to work really, really early, and you can't early after childbirth, and you cannot have the ability or the time to express breast milk for your baby to be fed by a caregiver or a dad or mom, or grandma. So what you could do is you could feed your baby in the morning, and you could feed your baby when you come home, and you could feed your baby overnight. And then the rest might be formula. But that means that your baby is still getting everything that is so important and can have that health benefit. And of course, I haven't even gotten into the part of the relationship, the breastfeeding relationship tonight. I really just want to give you that idea about why there is a difference. So, key message, any amount of breast milk makes a difference to our babies. And yeah, it's not all or nothing. So I hope that you enjoyed listening to me tonight. It's just a very small message. And yeah, take a little memory shot about the poster that was developed by student midwives in Canada many years ago. In fact, in 2007 was a project, and the clinic that I've been working at for many years, we used to have that hanging there just as a visual, not to create any anxieties or any bias, but just honoring mothers' efforts to trying to breastfeed their babies, even in difficult circumstances. Okay, thanks for listening tonight, and I'll see you in a week's time. And if you do celebrate Easter, then please have a happy Easter and stay safe, and I'll see you in a week's time. Bye for now.